So this is our second live session. So I think you have already done till week 6. So what we have done till now, we have first we have done the demand function. We have derived the demand function from consumption maximization of utility given a budget constraint of each individual. And from there, we have derived the individual demand curve for each good. And from the individual demand curve, we have derived the market demand. And while doing this, we have assumed that the utility function is well defined. Or in certain cases, we have also shown when the goods are perfectly complementary or when they are perfectly substitute, what kind of demand function we are going to have. So so we have derived the demand curve. Then we move to the decision of the farm. That how much, suppose a farm wants to produce a given level of output. If it wants to produce output, it will require a combination of input. Then the question is, what is the cost minimizing input combination to produce a given level of output? So based on that, we get the cost function of each farm. And depending on the type of technology, whether it is like a constant returns to scale, increasing returns to scale, or decreasing returns to scale, or a combination of increasing and decreasing returns to scale, we get different type of cost function. So cost function actually gives you a relationship between output and the minimum cost to produce that level of output. So this was still week 2. And then in week 3, we introduce one form of market, and that is the perfectly competitive market, where we assume that there are many firms, and these firms takes the market price as given, and then they decide the optimal amount of output. And how they decide the optimal amount of output? They maximize their profit, taking the price as given. So we use the cost function, and then we have a total revenue, and we maximize the profit with respect to output, and we get the output of each firm. And then from each firm, we know there are many firms, so we know the number of firms, so we get the market output. And then we equate that market output with the market demand to get the equilibrium price. So the equilibrium price is such that the quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. So once we get the equilibrium price, we know what is the optimal output each farm is going to produce. That is in the short run. So we have seen that in the short run, farms may make positive profit, may make negative profit, or may have zero profit. But in the long run, the farms are always going to make zero profit. So if there are positive profit in the short run, so more and more farms are going to enter, and we have seen that. What happens? So as the more and more farms enter, the supply function shift rightward and the equilibrium price goes down. So the profit falls, and finally it moves to a zero level. And if there is a negative profit in the short run, then some of the firms move out. So that leads to leftward shift of the market supply, and that leads to increasing market price. And so finally the profit will be equal to zero. So that's we have done. So in the long run, so the price is always determined by the minimum of the average cost. So the demand is not playing any role in the long run. Next, we move to in the week 4, monopoly. In a monopoly, there is only one firm, and the cost function we have derived in in week 2, we use that cost function, and the demand curve that we are deriving in week 1, we use that, and then the objective of the monopolist is to choose output such that the profit is maximized. But now it can determine the price. How it can determine the price? If it decides an optimal output, corresponding to that output, what is the demand curve what is the price we get from the demand curve, monopoly can charge that price. So it is not going to take the price as given. So monopoly output is at the point where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. And given that output, the corresponding price from the demand curve gives us the monopoly price. And we have seen that there is always going to be some deadweight loss. So it is not a Pareto optimal output. Then we have discussed about the price discrimination. So first degree price discrimination, second degree price discrimination, and third degree. In first degree price discrimination, we have seen that the monopolist has the information about the demand curve of each of the individual, and it knows that each of the what is the type of this individual. So it can charge a different price for each unit. So what the monopolist will do, it will set the price as a bundle over a bundle, not of each unit. So in this case, what do we see that the monopolist will sell the output at which price is equal to marginal cost, and the price is not going to be the marginal cost. Price is going to be the whole area under the demand curve till that output. So it is a bundling that the monopolist is going to do. Next, in the second degree price discrimination, what do we see? That there are different types of the buyers or consumers. But the consumers are not, but the monopolist is not sure who is what. So it will devise a strategy, or it will bundle in such a way that the type 1 consumer is going to buy the bundle which is meant for that person, that type of person. And type 2 consumer is going to buy a bundle which is meant for this. So in this, while doing this, it will devise two types of bundle. And we have also seen that it is not always possible to do that. For certain specific types of demand curve, it is not possible. And for certain times, it is possible. Next, we move to third degree price discrimination. In third degree price discrimination, what it is done that the monopolist is going to sell at two different markets, and the consumers cannot buy. They have to buy from their own market. They cannot move from market 1 to market 2. So now the monopolist can charge different prices depending on the, I've seen on the elasticity of the demand. So this is the monopoly. And then we have compared with the monopoly output only in the first degree price discrimination, it is a Pareto optimal. But in other cases, it is not Pareto optimal, whereas in the perfectly competitive market, market outcome is always Pareto. Next, so till now we have not. We are using simple calculus and simple optimization to derive the results. Now, in week 5, we introduce game theory. So first, we do normal form game. So that means the players play the game simultaneously, and they have a finite set of action or set of strategies. And then we find the pure strategy mass equilibrium. And also we learn how to find the mixed strategy mass. And also we also discuss the limitation of iterated elimination of dominated strategy. So if we use that, then in certain cases, we will not be able to find any solution. So this was week 5. Then we move to dynamic games, or you can say as an extensive game in week 6, where we discuss if a game is played in stages. Suppose there are 2 stages. Then first, to find a solution, we use a backward induction. What we do, we move to the last stage, and then we find the optimal action in that stage, and then we move upward. In this kind of game, we use the solution concept that is called subgame perfect Nash equilibrium. Means we will choose that actions which is a Nash equilibrium, so which is optimal in each stages. That means a subgame perfect Nash equilibrium means that it is a Nash equilibrium in each subgame. So So here the strategy means the contingent plan or the whole plan of action. So the plan at each node. So depending on the histories, we will get different nodes because now the player who moves second will observe the action of player one. So that's why it may have multiple nodes. So there also we have discussed how to represent a dynamic games in a normal form game. So in terms of strategies, so there in a normal form game, what happens? The strategy set and the action set is same. But in an extensive game, strategy and the action is not same. Action is what is the possible option you have at each node. And strategy is a complete plan of action. That means at each node, what are you planning to do? What are the possible ways that you can? So it will give you the whole path, or you can say all the possible actions a player is going to take at each node. So we have done this. Then I think we have you this week 7 has been out. So in week 7, we use this concept of game theory and study a specific form of market that is called Purno competition, where first we do a very simple form that is duopoly, that there are two forms, and each form decides to produce output. So they decide on the output, taking the output of the other form as given. And there we derive the reaction function, and then based on the reaction function, we find the pure strategy mass equilibrium. And then we move to N form, and in N form also we derive the mixed pure strategy mass equilibrium, taking the output of the other form as given. So I think we have covered till this much. So do you have any question on this much? Any question on the portions covered till now? Or any question related to the assignment? Or how are you finding the assignments? Feel free to ask. When will be the next? Next session will be sometimes later, not why. Do you have any question now? You can ask me. Next session will be, I think maybe next month. I'm not very sure. But you will be informed. Okay, any question? Any other question? Hello, any question? Sure. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Hello. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. If you have any doubt in the assignment, if you have any doubt in the course material, in any video, you can ask. Hello, please. If you have any doubt, you can ask. So if you want me to discuss any topic also, you can ask me. Hello. Any question? Any doubt? Just tell me, how are you finding this course? So then if you do not have any question, then I will end the session here. And if you have any doubt, you will just mail me in the discussion forum. I will reply there. Okay, thank you.